Welcome back. It's getting time to get this party started. But let's look over here. See if that guy is there.
Were you really in that cage for 20 days?
It might have been closer to 30. I stopped counting after a while.
What did you do? I mean, 20 days is a long time to sit in one place and do nothing.
On good days, I posed riddles to the passers-by, offering them treasures in exchange for correct answers.
Really?
No.
Ah, too bad. That's got serious potential.
That guy still isn't here. So I'll check back after the fight. I couldn't help it. It's like I know that guy is supposed to be there. The drawback of knowing what's going to happen sucks.
The repairs are underway surprisingly quickly, considering how drunk Owen is. We may just make it. Are you sure? There's still time left if you need to talk with Sir Perth or do anything else. Then good luck to you. You'll need it.
They're coming! Get to your positions! Make ready!
Interesting that inside the Chantry they don't give women weapons, but let's take this time to learn something about Morrigan. Morrigan is supposedly the daughter of Flemeth, a legendary and fearsome personage who has, again supposedly, walked the Kakari wilds for centuries. Morrigan is reluctant or unable to confirm Flemeth's actual background. Whatever Flemeth's history, she did raise Morrigan, quite isolated from civilized society. Because of this, Morrigan has had limited interaction with fellow humans, though her shape-shifting has provided solace in the company of animals. She generally dislikes the race of man, but finds herself intrigued by exceptional specimens. Now, one of the things that I wanted to know was what kind of magic she has. So, before we delve into that, let's look at Flemeth. Long ago, legend says Ban Conabar took to wife a beautiful young woman who harbored a secret talent for magic, Flemeth of Highiver. And for a time they lived happily until the arrival of a young poet, Ozin, who captured the lady's heart with his verse. They turned to the Chassin tribes for help and hid from Conabar's wrath in the wilds until word came to them that Conabar lay dying. His last wish was to see Flemeth's face one last time. The lovers returned, but it was a trap. Conabar killed Ozin and imprisoned Flemeth in the highest tower of the castle. In grief and rage, Flemeth worked a spell to summon a spirit into this world to wreak vengeance upon her husband. That's deep. Vengeance she received, but not as she planned. The spirit took possession of her, turning Flemeth into an abomination, a twisted, maddened creature. She slaughtered Conabar and all of his men and fled back into the wilds. For 100 years, Flemeth plotted, stealing men from the Chassin to sire monstrous daughters, horrific things that could kill a man with fear. Those Kakari witches led an army of Chassin from the wilds to strike, I cannot believe this, to strike at the Alamari tribes. They were defeated by a hero, and all the witches burned, so they say. But even now, the wilders whisper that Flemeth lives on in the marsh, and she and her daughters steal those men who come too near. Morrigan's mother saved the last Grey Wardens from death at the top of the tower. So, basically what this is saying is that She's had previous daughters that were monsters, and through evolution, she was able to come up with something like Morgan. Is that not creepy? What the hell? For real?
The monsters are attacking from the lake! They're attacking the barricades! We need help! Come on! We need to hurry!
Okay, so let's... Getting back to the magic, let's investigate the schools of magic. There are 4. The first one is entropy. The first of the 2 schools of matter, entropy is the opposing force of creation. For this reason, it is often called the school of negation. Nothing lives without death. Time inevitably brings an end to all things in the material world, and yet in this ending is the seed of a beginning. A river may flood its banks, causing havoc, but bring new life in its floodplain. The fire that burns a forest ushers in new growth, and it is in this entropic magic that we manipulate the forces of erosion, decay, and destruction to create anew. Now that is deep. That's sort of like always look for the positive in things. Yeah, okay. The next school of magic is creation. The school of creation, sometimes called the school of nature, is the second of the schools of matter, the balancing force and complement of entropy. Creation magic manipulates natural forces, transforming what exists and bringing new things into being. Creation requires considerable finesse, more than any other school, and is therefore rarely mastered. Those mages who have made a serious study of creation are the highest in demand, useful in times of peace as well as war. Now the third school of magic is primal, sometimes called the school of power. The primal school is the second of the schools of energy, balanced by spirit, and concerns the most visible and tangible forces of nature itself. This is the magic of war, fire, ice, and lightning, devastation. This is what the vast majority imagines when they hear the word magic. Okay, the last school is spirit. The first of the 2 schools of energy, spirit, is opposed by the primal school. It is the school of mystery. This is the study of the invisible energies which surround us at all times, yet are outside of nature. It is the fate from the fate itself that this magic draws its power. Students of this school cover everything from direct manipulation of mana and spell energies to the study of summoning of spirits themselves. By its nature, an esoteric, oh my goodness, school, as most others know virtually nothing about the Fade. Studies of the spirit magic are often misunderstood by the general populace, or even confused for blood magic, an unfortunate fate for a most useful branch of study. Okay, so we know what these 4 schools of magic are. Which one does my character fall into? Which one does Morgan fall into? Which one has Flemeth mastered? I mean, because she's been here for centuries, has she mastered them all? Are any of these blood magic, or is that? But then that's not a school. I guess that's a type. I don't know. I'm very confused about that. But the entropy one is rather interesting. It's ironic that I'm reading this during a fight where I'm trying to keep a guy alive that I promised I'd keep alive, yet keeping him alive means the death of some others. So from the devastation of the deaths coming here, something anew is coming forth. Actually, I guess Lothering would be a very good example of that. Lothering was initially destroyed, if you play the story that way, but is eventually rebuilt. Okay. Well, since I've already talked about this in my other playthrough, I wonder what's going on with abominations, because that's blood magic, which they said, because it said that spirit is often misunderstood for blood magic. So that means that blood magic is its own set of magic. So yeah, I'm not understanding. So if you dabble into the school of spirit magic, that means that you will not dabble into forbidden areas of magic, because very little is known about the Fade. I would think that blood magic would be spirit magic, a section of it. I don't know. This is it's one of those times when you call yourself answering questions and you end up coming up with more questions, because I still don't know what kind of freaking, what kind of witch. What's the difference between a witch and a mage? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to research that. That's going to be one of those things that before I finish this playthrough, I'm going to have to determine.
Dawn arrives, and we survived the night. We are victorious. And though this victory came at great cost, we must remember none of us would be here were it not for the heroism of these good folk beside me. I thank you, dear lady. Truly the Maker smiled on us when he sent you here in our darkest hour.
Let us bow our heads and give honor to those who gave their lives in defense of Redcliffe. Now they walk with he who is their Maker. Long may they know the peace of his love.
With the Maker's favor, the blow we delivered today is enough for me to enter the castle and seek out your Arl. Be wary and watch for signs of renewed attack. We shall return with news as soon as we are able. Now, we've no time to waste. Meet me at the mill. We can talk further there.
Yay, he survived. Homeboy survived. I didn't really think that he would. But, okay, because I'm very stubborn. Do you think it's there? Gosh, why isn't this guy... Am I losing it completely? I could have swore there was a guy. And aren't there supposed to be bodies burning over here? See, this is going to drive me nuts, because this is why I don't like to play games where I know. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely enjoying playing this playthrough, but it's things like this where if I were to look at my I remember in my first playthrough there was somebody there. And I think in my second one that's on YouTube, there was somebody there. I don't know. But anyway, we're getting ready to go into we got to prepare to go into the castle to see what other kind of magic is in there. Like those abominations, those things that come up in the, that we're fighting. Are those, what? Because they have magic.
I locked myself in a cage once when I was a child. For an entire day. Ah, good times.
A tunnel that went under the entire lake. Who would build such a thing?
Either this is a trap, or the defenders of this castle are idiots. I suspect both.
Oh, he's so pessimistic. So pessimistic. Now, it'll be interesting to see if this mage remembers me. Because this is going to be one of those glitches. Technically, I'm a mage, but the game is supposed to recognize me as a human noble. So, it'll be very interesting to see if he remembers me from the Fade. Because he shouldn't. He shouldn't, well, I guess technically. It's one of those iffy points, but, no, he shouldn't remember me. He should. Well, no, he can't. Wow, confusing.
You say...
Hello? Who's there? Is there anyone alive out there? Wait, you don't look like the Arlessa's guards. Are you from outside the castle? You've spoken to her? Then you know what I did. I'm not proud of my deed. Poisoning Arl Eamon was what I was hired to do. Lady Isolde had no idea when she took me in to tutor her son, of course. I know it looks suspicious, but I'm not responsible for the creatures and the killings in the castle. I was already imprisoned when all that began. At first, Lady Isolde came here with her men, demanding that I reverse what I'd done. I thought she meant my poisoning of the Arl. That's the first I heard about the walking corpses. She thought I'd summoned a demon to torment her family and destroy Redcliffe. She had me tortured. There was nothing I could do or say that would appease her. So they left me to rot. I was instructed to by Terran Loghain. I was told that Arl Eamon was a threat to Ferelden, that if I dealt with him, Loghain would settle matters with the Circle. You see, I'm a Maleficar, a blood mage.
You? A blood mage? Truly? I would never have guessed.
A blood mage? Well, that isn't good.
I dabbled in the forbidden arts, and they condemned me to death for it. I thought Loghain was giving me a chance to redeem myself. But he's abandoned me here, hasn't he? Everything's fallen apart, and I'm responsible! I have to make it right somehow, I have to! Connor had started to show signs. Lady Isolde was terrified the Circle of Magi would take him away for training.
Connor? A mage? I can't believe it.
She sought an apostate, a mage outside the Circle, to teach her son in secret so he could learn to hide his talent. Her husband had no idea. I never meant for it to end like this. I swear. Let me help you fix this.
I say kill the mage. He cannot be trusted.
He doesn't need to die, surely.
I say this boy could still be of use to us, but if not, then let him go. Why keep him prisoner here?
Hey, let's not forget he's a blood mage. You can't just set a blood mage free.
Better to slay him. Better to punish him for his choices. Is this Alistair who speaks, or the Templar?
I'd say it's common sense. We don't even know the whole story yet.
Give me a chance, please. I tried to save anyone still up there. There must be something I can do. Afterwards, I assume I'll be arrested, or executed, or whatever people like me get. I'm tired of running from the Circle. I need to account for what I've done. I'd stay and try to help if I could. Perhaps I can help deal with whatever's been unleashed here. I'm glad you think so. So what now? You're letting me out? And what then? I'm not sure that's a good idea. I'd like to help out, but I'm not so sure I want to follow you into danger exactly. I won't, I promise. I will find a way to fix this somehow.
So he did not recognize me. And of course, Alistair's pissed, and Sten's pissed. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, he didn't remember me. So, I think we're doing good so far. So, it's still having me as a noble. I always look in here because I don't think there's anything in here. But I just want to make sure. So, yeah, I'm expecting, like I said, some glitches. But it'll be cool if I don't receive any. That would be cool. But then that also means, because I think didn't Win talk like like I was a mage, talking about the Fae. What do you know? Well, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sort of looking forward to this upcoming storyline because I want to do something different than I did before. We'll see how it goes, but I don't think I'm gonna kill off the boy. I don't think so. We'll see. But I didn't really feel, a part of me felt okay about it, but, I'd prefer if it were me, and since I have to go to the circle anyway, let's try to save the kid. It was his mother. Don't punish him,